Friends, I will not listen to any Plan 9 from Outer Space slander on this channel. That film remains one of my all time favorite screening experiences ever. So, getting that out there. I came to the horror hosts largely in reverse. 80s baby, child of the 90s. So I came to Elvira really young, probably younger than I should have, but I digress. I didn't get into learning about Vampira until late in my, embarrassingly late actually, in my film history career. Why? I don't know. I think I was getting into schlock in college. But I stumbled on Vampira and Me today. This is a documentary I remember hearing about. I remember hearing about it a bit actually, and this is going to date me in like Nerdist podcasts. So this came out in 2013 and is filmmaker R.H. Green putting together through interview footage he had with Vampira, Mila Nurmi, telling her life, talking about her career in Los Angeles in the 50s, 60s, and kind of 70s before she passed away in the 2000s. And what was really important about this story is this is one of the earlier times where we actually get to see her tell her own story in her own voice. This is constructed largely through extensive interview footage. And the main issue here, very, very little exists of Vampira's show. So we have the fact that she's one of the earliest recorded horror hosts. I can't speak with certainty based on all the local access shows, but she's airing in Los Angeles 1953, 1954. So we have the issue with her stuff that everything is either going to be live or at the very most kinescoped. And there's been so many tragic, tragic stories told about this, or how much Ernie Kovacs have we lost because it was all recorded over. The foresight wasn't there, and we've lost some truly fascinating programming as a result. But she's finally, even though she has passed, we get documentaries like this. There was a book relatively recently that was put together by her family that used excerpts from Nurmi's writing that talks about her life, talks about her career, her struggles, everything she went through really for this character. And what I liked about Green's documentary here, I am a big snob when it comes to depictions of the 1950s. One thing I cannot stand is media that comes along and writes the 1950s as Leave It to Beaver, as Father Knows Best. Yes, that was the popularized ideal, and that's literally what it was, the ideal, what people were, convinced they should have. But through all this, there's this undercurrent, a bit of an edge as society was starting to change towards the 1960s. You've got things like Betty Page, which is referred to in here. You've got comics like Lenny Bruce. You've got entire underground cultures bubbling up around the United States in response to the Leave It to Beaver ideal that was being pushed after World War II. And Green is very savvy to talk about the 1950s as it really existed. The Addams Family influences. The Addams Family is kind of a rebellion to post-war culture. And so historically, I really liked everything he did there. And they juggle that story really well. And then his personal touches ground the end of the film a bit. Because there's an overarching tragedy here because Nurmi ran into such financial issues late in life because she saw no financial success from Vampira, especially after Elvira came along. There's a lot of discussions going on there, and I won't necessarily dive into details. There's a lot that could be researched, and I'm a neophyte there in that research. But she struggled late in life. She saw no, the contracts weren't there. She saw no financial success from what she was able to do. And poverty stricken, bordering on homeless late in life. But through Green's work and what Green's presence in there, then there's also a very noted presence of stand-up comedy writer Dana Gould, who was a very close figure late in her life as well. It brings a bit of a happiness. It shows the social circle that she had around her in this scene at this time, and the people who respected her, knew her story, and stayed close and gave her the comfort that she needed. And there is, through all of the struggles and all the difficulties she had, it's kind of a bittersweet ending. It's kind of a, there's a happiness there, even though very little went well. But from a classic TV aspect, I really, really enjoyed this documentary, and I wasn't expecting to, because like there is so little footage. They make great use of the culture kind of around Vampira and the television era, because while, like I said, so little exists of her show, there's great archival clips and other shows that she did. They use a lot of footage from a Red Buttons appearance. There's a great George Gobel clip that you can find on YouTube. Also a great one with Bill Cullen as well. Some really fun, easy kind of variety show stuff. But if you are a classic TV fan, into the horror host, I would definitely recommend checking this out. And also look up, and I need to see if I can put it in the show notes, the book that just came out on Vampira from her family as well. Great opportunities for her to finally be heard and finally tell her own story, which is something that's been drastically lacking. I will go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me here at Piercing Cinema. Have a good one all.